Three, two, one.
Hello guys, Junior back again. Right, we're going to go for the Megadrive 2 mini review. I did an unboxing, so I'm not going to show the machine again. Run through it all. What I'll say about the unboxing, the box is tiny, the machine is really small and cute, and the pad is very nice. We tried the pad out. The plastics are not quite the same as the original pads, but the pad is very nice indeed. It feels like an original 6-button pad. You don't get a power supply in the box, which is a little bit of a shame, but I think the Japanese one got a little power brick. But as far as I'm aware, you need a 1.5 amp charger, so usually any phone charger will probably work. It's USB micro, or micro USB, not USB-C, but USB on the other end, so it'll plug into any charger. What else can I say about it? Comes with a HDMI cable, which is quite nice. Comes with a charging cable. Right, I got this hooked up, so I'll go back to the main menu and I'll show you some of the options you have on you. Right, so we'll go for the options first. So when you go to settings, you got your basic, this goes to the website, reads the manuals and stuff. I haven't actually looked at that, to be honest. I don't know whether there's proper manuals on there. I'll have to check that one out. I wonder if I can do that now. Let me grab my phone a minute. Let's have a look if there is actually proper manuals. So that would be interesting to know, because I did see a guy on Twitter had printed out some manuals, but I don't know whether he printed out old manuals. Let's have a look. Let's try this out live. Let's see where it goes. It goes to a Japanese website. View manual. All the manuals are on you by the look of it. And it looks like they're in English. Yes, they are. The English, the European manuals, so they're all in various European languages. They're not in full colour. I'm just looking at the Final Fight one. That's quite interesting. So all the manuals are on you, so I suppose you could, if you wanted to, you could print them off. Let's have a look at their a manual for a cartridge. Yeah, so they're all in black and white as well, but the manuals are on here anyway, you should get the idea. So that's interesting. So that's that. You've got various languages you can choose from. You do get different box art, basically depending on language. If I go back, I'll show you what I mean. So this is all it's not all European box art, some of it's mixed in with the American box art. But if you press B, you get all the side box art. So you can basically pick a game from there, but if you say click on the game, you can go through the box art that way as well. So there's 3 different ways. So if I change this back to change the language to Japanese, and then go back, you get the Japanese menus. You don't get the Japanese games though, so there isn't that. So basically you get a mix of the Japanese box art and some UK box art or American box art. That's the thing on the side. Same with the American one. You can do that as well. I think the American gives you all slightly different box art as well. So let me put that back to English. It goes back to the menu. So can I pick American? Traditional English? No, you can't. So basically, you can't do the American one. Take that back. You've got game settings. So we'll start off with the screen settings. You've got 4.3, which is how it should be, and you've got the 16.9 for all those crazy people out there. So stretched and looking hideous, but you know, some people like it. So back to 4.3. There is a CRT filter. So far, none of the mini consoles have got a good CRT filter, and that includes this one as well. So if I turn the CRT filter on, what's a little bit of shame about this one is, like if I go to Afterburner, I'll just start this up, is M2 have created fantastic scan lines. The scan lines are really good, better than any of the other retro consoles. Scan lines are weird, really nice, but they've put a blur filter on it. So basically, it looks blurry. It's not too crazy blurry, but yeah, it looks like crap. So basically, I don't know why they can't just do scan lines without the blur filter. See, it just looks like a blurry mess. I, I don't know why they do that. For some reason, some of these companies they just insist on using blur filters. It's like CRTs weren't that blurry back in the day either, like so, because the resolution fitted the CRT. So they didn't look like that unless you had a really crap TV. It looked like that if you had Japanese NTSC composite though, so maybe that's what they were going for. Who knows? Or composite as I like to call it. So we're going to get rid of that because it looks terrible. So while we're here as well, basically you can save state any game. Anytime you go 4 save states. Little tip for you guys: if you want to keep your high scores on anything, save a save state here, and then every time do your settings, whatever, save a save state, and every time you go back to the game, just start your save state and then save it again, and it's a way of keeping your high scores essentially. You can load that save state as well. So basically, it just goes back exactly where you were, and you can reset the game, which I've used that quite a bit. So the backgrounds you see in there are also another option. So let's go back to settings. So I'm going to go back to settings. I'm going to turn that crappy filter off because it looks terrible. Right, so basically you can have different wallpapers on the back of it. Some of the wallpapers are quite cool. You know, they're not too bad. A lot of people don't like them. I've left the one on for some reason. I don't know why. And you got the Buddy Specs, and you got the Sega World one, and you got the old. That one looks like an old TV. And then you got that one, and you got the plain black as well. One thing that is a little bit of a shame: the screen. You can't stretch the screen out. You can't overstretch it slightly. Not 16.9. So the screen it fits top and bottom. But I suppose they're keeping the aspect ratio, so that's why that doesn't work. So I'm going to put it back on the one I had on because I don't mind it actually. Sound settings. So we'll let you listen to this for a while. You can basically hear the original Megadrive and the Megadrive 2 sound chip. One's got a low pass filter, which is the original one, and the one hasn't. So I'll let you listen for a second. So, they both sound pretty good, but that's how the Mega Drive should sound, I think, with the low pass filter. It can be a little high pitched and a little bit scratchy on the other one, but you know, what you prefer, what you grew up with, nice and easy. And you can change the mode button. On the actual pad itself, it's got a mode button, like on the original 6-button pad, but it's now a menu button, so you can change how that is used, basically, to go back to the menu. Basically, you don't want to change it. You know, you're not going to use it in game anyway, so you may as well just leave it as it is. So go back. You got the staff credits, and you got the original Mega CD music, which is quite nice. You got the Mega CD 2 screen, but I think that's the Mega CD 2 screen. I remember when I first seen this on my Japanese Mega CD when I first had it, I was like, wow, look at this scaling, never really seen it before. So you got all the basically the people who did it. You can take their names off, which is quite nice. Whether I can get back out of it now is another thing. Nope. And you got a factory reset, which obviously resets everything back, which we're not going to do because that would be really silly. So I will go for I'm not going to show you all the games because this video will go on forever. I'll show you some of the new games they've put on here, because the other games you've probably seen them before or you've seen them on a collection or whatever. But I'll just quickly go through and I'll tell you whether I like them or not, basically. So, Afterburner 2, pretty cool game. I like it, very nice. Alien Soldier, I haven't played it, but it looks fantastic. Atomic Runner is very good as well. It's a nice version of the arcade. Bonanza Brothers is a bit weird. It keeps on these connections. It probably is a decent game in there somewhere once you learn how to play it, but I haven't quite got to that. Clay Fighters is a bit crap. Echo the Dolphin 1 and 2 on CD, very nice music and that. They're quite nice additions. Earthworm Jim 2, haven't really played it much, so I can't say, but it looks decent. that Devi Pie thing, that is one weird hell of it. This is a new game, by the way. It's a bit crap. I don't know why. I can see why it never got released. Desert Strike, I don't like it personally, but I know it is loved by a lot of people. Elemental Master is a fantastic shooter. They converted the original Fantasy Zone to the Megadrive, which is what you get in for there. So thumbs up to that. I love that game. Fatal Fury 2, I remember back in the day I had Neo Geo and it looked really terrible, but going back to it now, it's actually not a bad conversion. Final Fight CD is a very good version of Final Fight for the Mega CD, and it's not quite arcade perfect, and it does punch really slow, which is a bit annoying, but apart from that, it's a very nice version with good music. Game Ground, a game that I completely brushed over back in the day because it looks terrible, but it is actually a really good game when you get into it. Midnight Resistance is fantastic. Herzog Zwei is another one I passed over, but once you learn to play it, it's pretty amazing, and this probably is the first real-time strategy game. It came out before Doom 2 on the Amiga as well, which is sort of considered the daddy of it, so this probably is the first one. Hellfire was, pretty fantastic version of the arcade. Granada X, or Granada as it should be called, there's no X on it, is also a very good shooter, tank-based. Golden Axe 2 is very good as well. Night Striker, I love the arcade of Night Striker. The Mega CD version is a bit of a blocky mess, unfortunately, so it's a bit tricky to play. Night Trap, I'm not into full motion video games, but it was the game that caused the massive controversy, controversial in America, and they ended up with the video game ratings and stuff because of this. I don't know, it's a full motion video game, what can I say? Not my bag. Outrun Mega Drive version, not particularly fussed on it personally. Outrunners, not particularly very good either, but they're nice there on you, don't get me wrong. Phantasy Star 2, fantastic RPG. I really enjoyed this. I've actually finished it twice. But this one, there's an easy mode, which is very welcome because later on in the game, it becomes just luck sometimes killing things. So I might end up playing through again on you at some point. Robo West, I haven't played it a huge amount, but seems really good. I'm not particularly very good at it. Ristar, not played it much, but it's supposed to be very good. Same with Ranger X. It's a bit weird how you control this game, but yeah, it seems a good game. I've not really put a lot of time into myself, but it seems good. Wayne Bryan's Exa, very good conversion in the coin-up. Populous, I remember playing this back in the day. Alright, nothing special, but it's alright. Rolling Thunder 2 is great, I really like that. Super Shark is pretty terrible. Shadow Dancer is better than the arcade one. It's really good to have on you. Shining Force CD, not really played it, but I heard it's good. Same with Shining Force 2. Shining in the Darkness, I did play it for a while. It's not bad, pretty good. Silpa Heed is very good. Still looks fantastic these days. I've never played that. I did play Sonic 3D last night for a bit. It's not great. Sonic CD is great, and this is one that's got the Japanese and the UK music, which is the best soundtrack. Streets of Rage 3, not really put a lot of time into it, but seems good. Star Mobile is a new game as well. There is a PC Engine version. It's pretty weird. You've got to weigh the stars up. Not great. Splatterhouse 2 is really good. If you like Splatterhouse, pretty fantastic. Splatter, I'm going to come to this. A lot of reviewers I've seen so far, I've totally bypassed these games, these new games, as just being they're a bit crap, they chucked them on it for the out of it. But some of these games are really good. Splatter is actually really good fun and quite a tactical game. I did play it for a while, and I think they're wrong. It's actually pretty good. In fact, it's quite a nice addition, I've got to be honest. Space Harrier 2, they've upgraded the scrolling, so basically you've got better frame rates, and you've got scaling effects, which is all new going to this, and you get Space Harrier 1 as well. It does flicker a lot, but I'll show you there's a secret menu where you can use a de-flicker option, which helps with flicker. It doesn't eliminate it completely, but it helps. Super Hang-On, I don't know, it's a bit crappy on the Megadrive, that is. Another one people are bypassing, Super Locomotive. I have never played a game like this before in my life. It's completely new and different, and it is quite good fun. but it's a bit of an edgeful to keep your eye on it, what's all going on. So that's actually quite good as well. Super Street Fighter 2, which is Super Street Fighter 2. Ninja Warriors, pretty cool to have that on here. I love Ninja Warriors, really good soundtrack on here as well. The Use is pretty crappy. Vector Man 2, played it last night, wasn't enjoying it. Truxton's a classic, but this one also has the arcade soundtrack as well, so you can switch between them. Toe Jam and Earl Fucktron, I played that last night as well, didn't think it was very good either. Thunder Force 4 is a classic, so is Revenge of Shinobi. Viewpoint, I have to admit, considering what it was trying to emulate, the Neo Geo version, it's actually a pretty nice version of the arcade, and quite surprising that is. Virtual Racing, pretty impressive for its time. Looks quite rough these days, but still plays quite nice. Pyro Sun, I haven't actually played that yet, but apparently this is a conversion of the arcade one, a new game to the Megadrive, and it's based around 2-player, not the 1-player. But we'll have a look at that. Warsong I've never played, so I can't say, and Mystery Mansion's another full motion game, which is not going to be my bag. So that's all the games you get on here. The reason I went for the UK one is I think it has better games than the Japanese one. If you can't read Japanese, there's a lot of games on the Japanese one you can't play. And there's a lot of cool games in here which are not on the Japanese one, like Elemental Master, but you know, the Shinobi games. They're just not on the Japanese one, but the Japanese one will have a nice looking box. So there you go. So that's all the games. So I'll show you some of the new games. We'll go through them. So we'll go with this Dev Pie. This is super weird. I'm really not sure how the hell you play this. It looks like a breakout game, but it isn't. I think you've got to let the cherub thing go up to the top. You control the top paddle with the 2 buttons and the bottom paddle with a stick. I could see why they never released it, basically. And he does have fantastic nibbles, which you don't normally see in video games, but yeah, you see on this. So basically, you can hit these and they go sideways. So I'm not sure if you've got to break this out, but you can't. If I try hitting this straight on, it'll just crash into it, and then you'll lose part of the screen. And the top one you can move with the buttons. So I think you've got to do this. It's a pretty odd game. Maybe if you play it and you get used to it, maybe it gets interesting. I don't know, but it doesn't seem particularly very good. Do you like those nipples though? Yeah, so this is different again now. So I'm not sure whether you've got to let these escape. No, you haven't. Okay. You have got to hit these. Do I hit these back down? No. Do you like them? Ah, right, the red ones you've got to let escape. Right, okay. Oh, no, you haven't. Yes, you have. Yeah, so, like I said, I'm not sure what the hell is going on with this game. Okay, that puts the screen back up, I think... No, okay, you haven't got to let them escape. Or have you? See? I don't know what's going on. I guess even more confusing in a minute because you've got to use the top and bottom at the same time. Very odd puzzle game. Something different, I suppose, I'll give you that. So now I've got to basically collect them and use that to do it. So I don't know whether... It gets a little bit confusing then. See, it's making blocks, but I don't know what the hell these blocks are for. Hard to keep track of what's going on top and bottom. Oh, I can stretch the top bottom out. Okay, that's weird. See, super odd game. Messing this up now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So that's a very strange puzzle game, and not particularly very good. But it was an unreleased game apparently. But it takes a little bit to go back to the menu, as you see. It takes a couple of seconds. It's not like an instant back. So you've seen all these. These are all normal release games apart from that. So I'll show you the conversion of Fantasy Zone. I did see someone on Twitter using some music from Space Harrier on here, so I'm not sure how they did it. But there is like a super easy mode, which is quite good for people who haven't played it. But in here, you've got all this stuff as well. So basically, you can put the level on normal. You've got rapid. You can change your rapid fire. You can change your players free. And I don't know what beat and fix is though. And you can play the old version and the updated version. So there's some options to play around with in there. So you get I haven't put the auto fight on. You need auto fight for this game, really, basically. Oh, so it, so basically, Fantasy Zone is a little bit like Defender if you've never played it. I love this game. And it plays really nice on you. The music sounds exactly like the arcade one as well. And when you go into shops, you can buy items in the shop. So basically, you can buy extra weapons, but they're all on a time limit. So basically, all you need really up until the level before the last one is your standard firing, and you can. It is handy to have the other weapons. So the idea of the game is you basically run through. You've got to blow all the bases up. Very much like sort of Defender in some ways. I think I haven't played Defender for ages, so I may be wrong on that one. It's weird though, I'm not a fan of Defender at all. I don't like it, but I really like this game. So once you've killed all the pieces, you get a boss. It's the easiest way to kill this boss is to get close to it. Unless this firing comes back on you, which is no fun. Which doesn't normally happen. Probably too close to it. Yeah, I'm making it look like I can't play this game. I'm probably too close to him. So anyway, that's the idea of a Fantasy Zone. Which obviously I can't play. Very nice conversion of the arcade one. And it should work on a Megadrive if the ROMs ever get dumped off you. As far as I know. So where do we get down to? So we go down to Fantasy Zone. So look at the other new games. Restart, seen that way before. They're all normal games. I'm sure that is as well. Right, so let's get to the biggies. Is why I essentially bought this. Space Harrier 2. So I'll go Space Harrier 2. I say this is upgraded from the original one because the original one's got really bad frame rate, and the scaling effects are terrible. But what you can do on this one, if you hold right and then press start, you get an extra option up here. It says deflicker. So you want to turn the auto fire on, and there's two versions of deflicker. There's like a part deflicker, which is number 1, or like a full deflicker. It's number 2. It does cause a few little problems with background shimmering a bit, and it doesn't get rid of all the flicker completely, but it does a good job of it. It's better than it would be normally. Even with the flicker, this is good. It's just the flicker is a bit of getting it tits a bit, to be honest.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
So the deflicker option is very nice to have. I don't know why they hid it though. I don't know why they decided that that was going to be a hidden option. Apparently, from what I've heard of Yokomo and a few other people, is M2, because they did all the emulation on this, they boosted VDP1, which is the graphics chip, and then they used that then to get the extra scaling. But I think what's happened is, because they used loads more sprites on the scaling than the original, it introduced a load of sprite flicker, because they probably went over the sprite limit. And then this deflicker option then must just boost the sprite limit a little bit. I could be completely wrong on that mind, but that seems sensible. Like I said, as you can see, it's not eliminating it completely, but it does make it a lot better to look at. You can see the scaling effects are rather nice compared to the original. So instead of making this review ages, so same with you know, I've set a save state up with the option already selected, and I've been saving my ice scores on it. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. The reason I bought this was Space Harrier 2. It was nice on the Megadrive, but it's a bit hard to play because of the frame rate and the way it was a bit rough because it was a really early game. But it's really nice they've gone back and done it. Plus, as a bonus, they converted Space Harrier to the Megadrive, which also has the deflicker option as well. So same on this one. Hold right, press start, and you get the deflicker option. So you want to turn that to the fullest, I would say. That seems to be the best option when I've been testing it out. You get a Megadrive version of the original Space Harrier. Still has flicker though, but I love this game. Really nice to have this. Apparently this was coded, for the Megadrive, but obviously they had to boost it a bit to get the scaling working. It will be interesting, I think, to if the ROMs do get dumped off this, is how will they actually run? Will you be able to run this in an emulator or something? Who knows? You get the original Space Harrier arcade, which is fantastic. It's not as good as the 32X port, which is rather good, or it's not going to compare to a standard port or anything. But for what it is, and a nice little bonus on you can't argue with it. So that's Space Harrier. I quite like our background. It's like plugging everything into a bit of power brick. The other game is Sparta. This is an arcade game that they converted to Megadrive. Like I say, a lot of people have just wrote these off, but this seems quite a nice game. So you've got the arcade options. Look, so you can change a lot of stuff. I haven't really messed around with it, changing stuff. It's a little bit like Pac-Man. This is right, but I can't remember which button puts the credits in. But you're on a little bike, but it's got some really good tactics to it. Because while you're basically on these fences, as I just get it straight away, while you're on these fences, you can do some tricks to hit the enemies. Like I'll show you now. So as he comes fast, you can basically knock him off like that, and you can basically use this to jump over enemies as well, which I'm doing a really bad job at. See if I can complete the level. You can also use these blocks. I just trapped myself. You can use those blocks to hit the enemies, sort of like flicky style. Let's try a different game. Let's see if I can get this going. So the idea is you've got to collect all these, like, I don't know what flowers or whatever they are. You come out with that bloody thing fast. Trap myself again. I'd say you can use that thing to get round the enemies. Not doing very good yet. Okay, cool. You can only jump while you're up against the fences, by the way. That caught me out first when I started playing this. out of the way. This is actually quite a good game. I don't know what that does. You can do various tricks and stuff on you. Oh, I went to push that then. I shouldn't have jumped over it. I was trying to push it for extra points. Let's see if I can get a little bit further, because you do get like a flicky type level once you get so far. It's like a bonus stage. It's a little bit like the original flicky. I was lucky. So you can jump and change lanes at the same time, which is quite cool. Oh, they got me, trapped me. I think this game has got loads of tactics to it. It is actually pretty good fun. I believe this is on Mister as well. I have to try it out with Mister. So use that to kill him. Hang around here a minute. Jump over that, because I might need it later. See the tactics you can use on it? It's quite a clever little game. Where's the last flower? So this is like the flicky level. You basically got to jump up here, you got to jump over. And you can screen wrap as well. You got so many seconds to get up the top. Collect everything. I need to get up the top now, don't I? As you get knocked back down. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's a little bit like flicky. See, a lot of people have written this off, and I don't think they should have. They should have actually properly played it. I tried to go the other side there, and that was bad. Maybe I should have stayed in the middle then. But you get the idea. A lot more fun than people were saying, to be honest. I quite like it. So that's one of the new converted games. So look, Star Mobile, I'll show you this one. This is newly done as well. I'm not sure if this was, it might be an unreleased game or something. It's pretty weird. Pretty annoying. You get this basic rule thing coming up all the time, which is... Right, okay, we skipped it. So the idea is you put your pointer, and then you basically you move the star to the place you want it to go. And you can pull down the hard drop it as well. And then if you put the same amount of stars on top of each other, I think it's 3 of them, they disappear, I think. I think you can hard drop them, so they've matched it up now, so they're the same. So I'm not entirely sure how the hell this works. Don't ask me. I don't know how I did that. I don't know whether it's like time-based or something, whether you keep it in the same place. I couldn't work out the PC Engine one. I should just watch the explanations, I suppose. Get that on there. So that's a heavy one. Just didn't want that going there. Yeah, so I don't know whether you just got, the longer you keep it sort of balanced, the better it is. But yeah, odd game. I need to put a bit of time in it to try and work out what the hell you do on it. It's a nice little bonus at the end of the day. It was an unreleased game, so can't complain. So look what else we got. Aha, locomotive. Super locomotive. This is another game that a lot of people just brushed over, said, meh, it's crap. I assume you've got the arcade options as well. Right. Okay, it says easy, but it's basically easy as normal. Right, I'll try and explain what you got to do in this. Basically, it's a bit strategy, a bit of racing, and a shoot 'em up all at the same time. So basically, you got your little train. You press a button, you get invincible, and you can ram the other trains. If you pull down the directions by looking at the top as well, which is where it starts getting confusing, you can move down the different tracks. So, and you can control your speed by pushing left and right, so you can slow down, speed back up. So, it's got some quite nice music as well. The flashing things you can see are basically like signals. You can go through the signals. You can't go for the red ones though. You can go for the signals if they blue, and they change to red, and then they kill the trains behind you. Slow down and kill all these up. Right, now you're starting to see planes. You can do smoke out of your chimney on the train. Depending on how long you hold the button down, depending on how high it goes and where you let go of it. You can also kill the trains behind you, which is super handy. Yep, wrong button. And you can kill planes, blimps, and everything. So it's sort of like a shoot 'em up, a racing game, and you've got to look at the top. But it's all a little bit confusing because you've got to look at it all at the same time. But I quite like it. I think once you get into it, this actually might be a fun game. I think it is a fun game. So if I go for that blue one now, they'll all die behind me. You've got to keep your eye on everything. And the invincibility thing, it uses your energy. So if I slow down a bit now, go for there, he's knackered. And you've got to collect the oil in that as well. So you've got to basically keep your eye on exactly everything that's going on. I'm still sort of learning how to play this game at the moment, but it's good. When the planes start coming into it, it starts getting interesting. I tried to shoot him. I don't think I've ever played anything like this game before. If I can get the blimp. Yeah, I got it. And you can shoot the bombs as well. So now you've got to keep an eye on the top screen and the bottom screen all at the same time. It's a very unusual game. Very different to anything I've ever played. The trick is to keep your head on it, keep your idea, your eyes on everything that's going on. Right, so I need to change because I basically got no. I'm going to enter to get through it. So you get the idea. Fun game. I like it. I think it definitely needs to be played more and get used to. I have to have a look for this on the Mist. I don't think it is. I don't remember seeing it on there. But yeah, really good game. Interesting. Something completely new. You don't get that very often. I say completely new. It's an old arcade game, but you get the idea. So that's good as well. Let's have a look. I'll show you Truxton with the arcade soundtrack. quite nice they added the arcade soundtrack as well. I do get auto-fire built in, press on the C button. This game is way easier than the arcade one. It's a nice conversion though. I think this is the game that sort of most people know when it comes to Toppan games because of this conversion, I think. Everyone remembers the bomb, which you got a guy with a big skull. I've seen a couple of t-shirts with that on, they look really cool. I say it's a rather nice conversion of the arcade. Obviously the screen setup is a little bit different because the arcade is a vertical screen, but you get the idea. Okay, the arcade BGM is good. I do like the Megadrive music as well, mind. In some ways, I like the Megadrive music more, I think. The one thing I have brought up is input latency. I think this plays perfectly fine. Everything I've tried on it, I haven't had any problem at all with input latency. It works fine. It has been tested. Bob from Retro RBG, Red Green Blue, RGB, sorry. He did a stream on it, testing it, and he's done a bit of a write-up, and it's pretty much 3 frames per constant 3 frames. So it doesn't alter. So 3 frames is pretty much just like playing an emulator. Alright, you get people out to say, oh, you play Retro Arch with Run Ahead. Okay, that's a nice little feature in Retro Arch, don't get me wrong. But most emulators haven't got that. So it is literally just like playing an emulator. So it's done very well. M2 has done a really good job of it. I don't know whether the fact that M2 have put a little bit of extra work into the input latency, or the fact that this runs on better hardware than the other one, and that's what's helped basically. But yeah, 3 frames, so that's perfectly fine. It's just like playing on your Raspberry Pi or on your PC or something. So it's done very nice. So that's that one. I'll do the new ones. We don't have any new games left now. So we've got Power's Son. I think of that. Maybe I think that got a release, but I'm not sure. So I haven't actually tried this myself yet. So this is a 2-player mode. Versus options. What we got on options? I think Yokomo was saying that it is like a test mode or something, like a 1-player. Like a absent player. So you can play the computer. Yeah, I never really got into the Power games, but they seem interesting. A bit Tetris myself, but one thing I will say, Power Tetris, you've got no chance against somebody who plays Power, and somebody who's good at it. No chance at all. But the idea of this is just to basically get chains of the little blob things, the powers, and you want to get like 4 in a row basically. So if I put that one there and I put the blue on top of it, but then you can get chains of them, so you can line them up. So once you do the ones underneath, the ones from the top will drop down, and then they explode. And that's basically how you gain lots of points in this. So if I do that one, so I need a green and a blue now basically. So if I do that. Here we go. So if I do that, I'll get 2 of them at the same time. Oh no, I didn't. It wasn't 4, was it? You get the idea. Poyo. It's loved by a lot of people. I haven't really played it that much. Not a bad game. Yeah, I got a chain going in. Small one though, but... So you get the idea. So that's Poyo. So instead of making this video about 4 hours long, which is my usual thing. Yeah, so what do I think of this? The input latency is fine. The scan lines are a bit junk, which is a bit of a shame. Well, the scan lines are good, but the blur filter is a bit crap. The other thing I will mention, actually, controllers. I'm using this with a Brook the Ultimate Fighting Board. That works on you. Apparently the Astro City Mini sticks and pads work on you, and 8-bit Do pads work on you, and the Retrobit pads work on you, apparently. So, but I'm using this for a fighting board. I'm actually got it plugged into an arcade cab at the moment, and I'm playing it that way. So that's nice. The games list, alright, there's a few games that I don't like in here, but at the end of the day, you're never going to get a mini console with all the games that you like. It's going to be subjective because, you know, they're mixing the games up and but I think this one's got a really nice games list. There's a few stinkers I don't like, but, you know, apart from that, there's a lot of stuff to play in here. I really like all the new stuff they put on here, especially the arcade games they converted. They're really cool, and I've never played them before, and I wanted it for the Space Harrier games, which are really good as well. So I'm glad I've actually got to play a better version of them. There's some nice shoot-em-ups on you, and it's got the Shinobi game, so can't argue with that. Pity you didn't have Shinobi free, but I think that might have been on the original Mega Drive Mini, possibly. But you do get the extra because you got Mega CD games, which is rather nice. So that's good. So I think it's got a pretty good games list. It covers quite a lot of stuff. There's quite a lot of new things on you as well. I quite like the backgrounds ain't too bad either. I like you can change the language and you get the different covers. I don't think some of these games come out in the UK, so that's probably why some of them haven't got UK covers. I'd have to look it up to see if they did. Also like they did Fantasy Zone as well, which is fantastic. I love that game. Really cool to see a Mega Drive version of that. So you know, the machine itself is tiny. It's really small. It's really nicely well made. It does get quite warm once you use it for a while. Like it's quite warm now, which is quite nice. Warm my fingers up. And you can stick a fake cartridge if you get one of those like cartridges you can buy. It will go in the top, and it will fit in the. It's got a side panel to fit in the like fake Mega Drive Mega CD. It will fit on there as well. So all in all, I think it's a pretty nice little product actually, to be honest. I wasn't that interested. I was literally just interested for the Fantasy Zone games. And I don't regret buying it. It's pretty nice. I'm going to have some fun with it. I've had some fun over the weekend with it anyway. And yeah, it's nice. Nice little collectible. Something you're going to pull out and have fun on. And it's got decent emulation with decent input latency as well, which is a bonus with these things, to be honest. So yeah, is there anything else we'd say about it? No, really, that's pretty much it. Oh, there is one other thing I do want to mention. From what I've been reading and been watching, Sega has only done one batch of these. Unfortunately, they're saying that they couldn't get the parts due to the part shortage, so they've chucked out one batch. Unfortunately, all these the UK ones are sold through Amazon UK, and the batch is gone. So unfortunately, you might not actually be able to get hold of one, which is a shame. As far as I'm aware, you can still get the American one, which has got the same games as this basically. But you have to order that from Amazon Japan, which is a bit weird why Amazon Japan are supplying the American version. But the Americans, if they want it, they've got to buy it from Amazon Japan. And I think the Japanese one is still available. I don't know whether it's an exclusive to Amazon Japan, but from what I've heard, it is being sold in shops as well, so maybe not. So that one might be a little bit more readily available. But as far as I know, that's the same with that one as well. There's one batch and they're all gone. So your only option now, if you want one, is to get an Amazon Japan, sign up an account, and buy the Japanese one or the American one. I would suggest the Japanese one will have a better box and look a bit cooler on a shelf, I suppose. But the American one will have better games, or more games you'll be able to play. So that's the other thing to say about it. So that's a little bit of a shame that probably these are never ever going to come back in stock again. So if you want one, be quick, be sharpish, and pick one up from Amazon Japan. So all in all, I think this is a really nice little product. I'm quite impressed with it, and I'm having fun with it. I don't need it. You know, I didn't buy it because I needed it. I got plenty of other ways I can play this, but you know, it's a curiosity. It's you know, it's a little play thing, and it does have nice games, and you can play it. So I would recommend it if you can pick one up. Definitely good, especially if you like the original Mega Drive Mini. I suppose, you know, this is a no-brainer. Pick this one up because it's got more games you to play, basically. So yeah, recommended. But like I said, if you do want one, you're gonna have to be a bit sharpish and get one off Amazon Japan. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to get one. I have seen these being sold on eBay, so they are being scalped, unfortunately, for about 170, 180 quid, which is probably where they're going to stay now. So there you go, guys. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the review, and yep, recommended. Okay, cheers, guys. Catch you around.